unstable, so bear with me, okay, because of that. Thank you so much for having me. And it's always such an honor and pleasure to address the youth. That is why I made sure that I was able to do it in spite of my schedule. And so, okay, without wasting much time, we are going to talk about mindfulness, okay? See, mindfulness is a very personal subject for me because in my life, especially the kind of life I lead, I cannot do without it. If I don't begin my day and end my day with mindfulness, I will not be able to work. Like I've slept only 3 hours last night. I think you can see it in my eyes, okay? And after this, after your session, I have to go back to my ICU. And ICU is a place where all the critical patients are there. They are there today, they won't be there tomorrow. Everybody is in a state like that. On that note, COVID, okay, don't take COVID lightly. You think that it's just, okay, your smell will go, you'll get a cough and cold and you'll survive. It's not necessary. It's like that. I've got 26 patients in my ICU. Everybody is on ventilators. They cannot even breathe on their own. And it is all because of COVID. So wear your masks. Do not take COVID lightly. And coming back to mindfulness, why is it very personal to me is because I'm a doctor, okay? And I have always had a very stressful life. I'm not disregarding any other professional stream saying you don't have stressful lives because every stream is stressful in its own way. And this is the world we live in. And right now, plus with the pandemic, and I think all of us, because some plan or the other has been foiled in some way. We all had a certain rough framework of 2020 and it didn't go our way. None of us had our plans fulfilled in 2020. So that plus so many additional things, your students may have to decide your next step. Even school-going students have to worry about their percentage, So everybody has a certain amount of stress in their lives. And stress is important. Stress is, in the right amount, it's important. It tells your body to be alert. It tells us that, okay, we need to push harder. We need to go a step extra. But then, from stipulated a month crosses, then it is deleterious to your health, not only mental, but also physical. Pardon me if I'm going too much into COVID, but I like to speak in context a lot. And since I'm working in this scenario, I'll give you an example of how stress affects your body. So I've had patients with very bad lung pictures and scenarios, okay? Like in the CT scan and x-rays, their lung was almost non-existent, okay? I'll give you two scenarios. Patient A with a very bad lung scenario and lung picture, like, there's something known as a CTSS score. You grade your lungs functionality on a score of 25. So there were people with
thoughts, and we shall allow you.
Okay. So if anybody wants to ask any questions in between the session, also I'm all up for answering. Okay. So mindfulness is basically mind and full. Okay, but it is not full. Your mind is basically full the whole day. Right now, I'm sure you all are in this webinar, but you are thinking of about 100 things at the back of your head. You are not completely in the webinar. I'll be honest, even not completely in it. I've got a number of things in my head. I have to see, okay, that patient's SpO2 was this much, his blood sugar was this much. Okay, so these things, it's natural. Nobody is a saint. If all of us were 100% mindful, then we wouldn't have needed to talk about it. We would have been enlightened by now. Okay, we would be like the next Sri Ravi Shankar and the next Sadhgurus. Okay, because we are human. We are like, we are normal people learning how to cope every day in our day-to-day lives. So, our minds are full. Okay, our minds are absolutely full, but we are not mindful. And that is what we have to learn. And let me be honest, you can never be completely mindful because we are humans. We have a monkey mind. In Buddhism, it's said that our mind is a monkey mind and it's so difficult to train it. Okay, so mindfulness is basically you trying to give your 100% to one activity. It can be anything. The most simple is your breathing, is your breath. Okay, and breathing is, it's said like you come into this earth, you take a deep breath, and in between life happens, and then you exhale, and that is when you die. So everything is within that breath. And breath gives you a very vital life force, which is known as prana. Prana is energy. Okay, so your breathing, your breath gives you the energy with which you sustain life. So you can be mindful doing a lot of things. You can be mindful while drawing, studying. There are mindfulness coloring books nowadays available in the market. But I, on a personal level, suggest that you begin with mindful breathing. It's not difficult. I meditate. I meditate a lot, but then it took me a lot to reach this level. And I will not tell you to straight away, okay, from tomorrow morning sit in silence for half an hour every day. That's not possible. Trust me. If you sit for 20 minutes, there'll be barely half a 30 seconds of mindfulness that you'll achieve. It's very difficult. Even for me now, even after like getting more than 3+ years of spirituality and meditation, it's still difficult for me to attain that. But what you can do is, every morning as you wake up, first, do not touch your phone. The moment you do that, you're flooded with so much of information, good and bad, your mindfulness will go out of the window. And it's a very difficult habit to inculcate. Till now, my hand automatically goes to the phone. I have to consciously stop it like, okay, no, just 5 more minutes. And then only I'll check my phone. So avoid that. That's very important. Okay. Second thing, what you can do is mindfully, you turn towards your side and then get up. Okay. This has a very good and important implication in yoga and even science for that matter. Okay. It causes less stress on your heart. It also decreases the amount of, there's something known as orthostatic hypotension. Okay. So throughout the night, your body is in resting state. Your blood pressure has dropped because your body is resting. And if you just get up with a jerk, what's going to happen is you're going to feel dizzy because your heart is not able to pump blood throughout your body so fast. So what you do is you wake up, you turn towards your right consciously. Your heart, your body sort of gets a nudge that, okay, now we have to wake up. It gets blood throughout the body. And then you get up, sit on your bed. And I'm not asking for more. Take 10 deep breaths. That's it. You can even take 5 if you're too busy. But I don't think so any of us are that busy. 10 deep breaths we can do for ourselves. But those 10 deep breaths need to be conscious. You need to feel it. You need to observe that it's going inside and how, sometimes which nostril is more active. Right now, if you put your finger in front and if you breathe out, you'll see that one amount of nostril is exhaling more air than the other. Again, this nasal cycle keeps switching throughout the day. It's the same with inspiration. You have to be mindful enough to observe that it's going inside, you imagine it going inside, filling your lungs, and then you slowly exhale out. And while exhaling, again, you observe which nostril is more active. There's no reason behind it. You have got nothing to do with the knowledge that, okay, your right is active or left is active. It's just, to keep your mindfulness in check. Okay. That is the only mindful activity I will ask you to do at this level, because to do even this is so difficult. You get it? And, so mindfulness it really calms you down. It centers your energies. We live in a world where our energies are scattered everywhere. Even right now, my energy is in the webinar, my energy is in the ward, my energy is in the seminar, which later I have to give. Okay. And I think it's the same with all of you. How do I make you the host, Pari?
Yeah, ma'am. So basically, when you will find my in the in the list of participants, you'll have to click on the three dots and do that. I'm so sorry for the interruption, but
No problem. But I can't see you. Well, I can't see the three dots.
you'll have to open the participants list, and
Where is
there
it? Participants
when
and
you
your
tap on the
Pari
screen, you'll find it.
put on hold, make host.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm so sorry for the interruption.
No problem, Pari, please, no problem. Yeah, so it's like that. And where was I? Let me talk about you. Your life is transitioning every moment. Okay, and so was mine. I mean, I just finished my college last year, so I understand how it is in college. You've got so many thoughts. You want to do this, you want to do that, you don't want to do this. Some of your parents want you to get married, some of your parents want you to pursue this. So, especially when you're transitioning in life, you're going to be rocketed into a very different sphere. So it's a beautiful thing if you start with a clean slate. And how do you start with a clean slate? By cleansing your mind. Okay, like the 10 breaths that I asked you to take in the morning, the same 10 breaths you take at night. Because when you do that, your mind is so focused on the 10 breaths that it's sort of, it blurs out whatever happened through the day. So that you sleep with a clean slate. And in turn, in the morning, you wake up and you do 10 more deep breaths, you wake up with a cleaner slate. You understand? And especially at this juncture in your life, when you have to make so many decisions, it's important that you do it with clarity. And you get clarity only when your mind is clear and free of all the fogginess and obscurations, and that only mindfulness can give you. Okay, and I'm being very bluntly honest about that. And apart from that, there are so many health conditions, like for example, for my urticaria, an itching condition I talked to you about, mindfulness helps. It has helped me more than my medications. Like when my body starts to erupt in allergic reactions, I can take an anti-allergen tablet. Okay, it'll subside immediately. But our body also keeps, like, I'll take one tablet of 10 milligram one day. After 5 years, that 10 milligram won't work. I have to go to 15 milligram. So your body, human body, is the most complex machinery. Okay, you give it one drug, it'll become more potent towards that drug. So resistance will ultimately develop. So just taking medications and painkillers is not the long-term solution. The solution is to clear the root of it. Okay, like for example, my root cause for the urticaria was stress. So for me, I need to get rid of the stress factor that I achieve through mindfulness. So for you all also, if any condition, it has been proven that even diabetes for that matter, hypertension, lots of things. Okay, all of these things have been shown to decrease with the help of mindfulness. Okay, I work in a COVID ward. So I think all of you must be knowing by now that if you are a diabetic, okay, if you have diabetes or hypertension, COVID takes a longer time to heal. Like a normal person, a 26-year-old with no diabetes, no hypertension, will come negative in 10 days. A person with diabetes, hypertension, 46-year-old, will come negative after 30, 35 days. Okay, that's how it works. So with these patients, I'm talking from personal experience. I have ensured meditation activities in the morning and evening, and they have shown tremendous results. I'm in fact even writing a research paper on it because, breathing consciously has helped my patients recover in the current scenario, if I talk about. Okay. And for all of you also, knowing all the benefits, it's if somebody had told me to start meditating at your age, I would be so grateful to somebody. There was nobody to tell me that. It's people will tell you, why are you being like this? It's like, this is what old people do. Okay, trust me, you are going to get older much later than those people. It even stops and, it really reduces aging as well. So, don't worry about the people. You get into it. It's a beautiful experience, just to withdraw yourself from this world, to give that 5 minutes or 10 minutes for yourself every morning. I'll repeat it again. If somebody had told me to do this at your age, I would be so grateful. I started late. You all world is advancing, evolving. You all have the chance, you have got internet. And with your time, I was in a boarding school and we had no internet. Till now there's no internet in the boarding school I went. And we didn't have access. We have guided meditations online. There are these different apps, okay, such as Sattva. And you just go to a YouTube and find any guided meditation online. I will not guide you to a specific guru or a specific channel. You can just put on any chant, okay? It doesn't matter whatever your religion is. You can put on any soothing music and just close your eyes and immerse yourself for some time. I mean, if I ask yourself this question honestly: when was the last time you sat down in silence for 5 minutes consciously? 5 minutes, chalo, 2 minutes, silently, without any, I won't say without any thoughts, but without any thoughts disturbing you. Just for yourself. When did you take out 2 minutes time to just sit down in silence? Most of us don't remember, right? So what does that show? We are not on the right track. We need to give time to ourselves. And that is what mindfulness will do. And for that, you need to inculcate it as a daily habit. Only then it's going to show effects, okay? And what else? What else would you like to know? I've spoken so much. I'm sure I'm boring you guys. Just type in the message box if you all want to me to elaborate on any issue, or if you have any personal questions. I think it's better to keep it interactive. You tell me. Anybody, whoever wants any information, anything, if you want to know how to go about it, if you want to know how I got into it, any questions?
Yeah, ma'am. So basically, I had this one question in myself, that how did you develop your interest in this field? So what was the process? Like, when did it, when did it appear to you, like, I should just move ahead in medicine? What inspired you to do so?
See, I'll tell you, okay. Have you all watched Jab We Met? Yeah. So my I'll go very candid on this one, okay? Because yeah, I think I should be honest with you guys, huh? So my life basically took a similar turn like that movie. I was this extremely jovial, bubbly girl, okay? Like I really identified with that character, Geet. And all of us in college, you all must be in relationships. I was in one too. I had a very bad breakup, pathetic breakup. Okay, I was distraught. Okay, and I can laugh and talk about it right now, but at that time it was horrible. Again, now I look at it as a very fun experience because it made me who I am. And I'm sure, like, all are in college, you all will go through. God forbid, I don't want you all to go through it. All of you, live happily ever after. But, it's inevitable to a certain extent. Then I became like the Geet post in the second half of the movie. Okay? And it was very unlike my nature. I started declining in academics, and I am a good student, okay? But, I sort of, I declined in academics. I stopped attending classes and, but I had a very strong support system. And since I was in a medical college, it was very easy for me to gain access to a psychiatrist. So I went to a psychiatrist, and I was very lucky because my psychiatrist, before giving me medicines, she gave me 3 audio tapes on mindfulness. Okay, it was a very simple audio tape. I just had to close my eyes and focus on every part of my body as I took my deep breaths. Okay, first 1 week, I found it useless. I went and I told her, please give me sleeping pills. I kept haggling her, ma'am, please give me sleeping pills. Your meditation is not working. But ma'am, she was so patient with me. She told me, give it more time. And then I was still not compliant with it. Okay, I'll tell you, I'm a very stubborn person. I was not at all compliant with it. Then she called me to a clinic. Then she started guiding me through my mindfulness meditation activities. And then slowly, it doesn't happen in a matter of weeks or even months. It took me more than 2-3 months. And then, the way I kind of evolved from that experience, it was beautiful. And I literally became a new person. I blossomed. I'm not even exaggerating. Okay. So I needed that nudge. I needed that heartbreak. I needed that episode in my life to escape. So I used mindfulness as an escape in the beginning. But then it helped me so much, and I could see so many changes in myself that I delved deeper and deeper and deeper into it. Then I went to this Isha ashram in Coimbatore, and I did my yoga course there. And, and ever since, every chance I get, I keep enhancing my mindfulness and meditation skills. And since it has helped me so much, that's why I do this. I encourage people to do it because it does help. That's why. Okay, we've got another question. Ma'am, I get very conscious and anxious when something goes wrong, be it any little thing. It just messes up my mind and thought process. I know I have to work on it, but how can I get anxiety at everything? So yeah, this question, somebody is getting anxious about every little thing. Okay, I meditate a lot. I still get anxious. It's nothing abnormal. Let me tell you one thing. If you were calm and zen all the time, you'd be a saint by now. Okay. What you can do is your anxiety will never completely go. Trust me. Okay. But what morning. And if at all after that you like the process and if you want to go further into it, there are so many options. I'll leave my email ID. All of you can always contact me on my email ID. I'll be so happy to help. And then and then Dhyana is a beautiful mindfulness approaches are a very, 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 very simpler forms of the traditional meditation practices, because the kind of life we lead now, it is not possible, it is not physically and mentally possible for us to do that level of traditional meditation. Even though I do it to a certain extent, even for me it's not possible. But mindfulness, we have to move with technology, and change is the only constant, right? So mindfulness, the modern mindfulness practices are built in accordance to the life we lead now. Understood? Like if it was 2000 years or 200 years ago, and if I would have told you to take 10 deep breaths in the name of mindfulness, that would have been a joke. But right now, the life we lead right now the present mindfulness activities are made and built around your lifestyle so that you can adapt to it. Okay.
Yeah, so thank you so much for answering this.
No problem.
And we have questions regarding Dhyana. So basically, how can one track their mindfulness sessions and how does the Dhyana work?
That I think Dhani will be able to answer much better. Is Dhani online? She is she is one of the app people. I can answer it too, but then I think Dhani would be able to give you a much better and elaborate answer on that.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Dhani.
Yeah. So we'll be going about Dhyana. There's a few different things that go into it. We realize that this is one thing that most of us struggle with, because we've heard about the benefits of meditation and mindfulness, and at some point we were convinced to give it a try. But then when we really sit down to it, we're sitting there thinking, is this meditation? Well, am I doing it right? Is this all there is? And more than meditating, we're just sitting there analyzing that, because we know what meditation looks like, but it's very hard to explain the internal process of it. And when you try to get it's about finding yourself, which as a concept is very confusing. We'd much rather have a step-by-step guide. So that is the idea that went into Dhyana as a product, which is a ring that actually, let me just walk you through this. Second. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So meditation as a process is about as an activity is about 7,000 odd years old. It's a concept that's existed and been passed down over the generations, and yet nervous system is a combination of our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. Now, sympathetic is your response to stress, and parasympathetic is your response to relaxation. What happens is, for most of us, I believe, we lean more towards the stress response. We're constantly reacting to the stress stimulus around us and not really relaxing that much. Dhyana, with its guided meditation apps, helps restore that balance, helps us balance it off with our parasympathetic nervous system and get to a more mindful place where we're able to cope with the stress of life better. So we've got the app that goes with Dhyana, which has various different customizable options that you can go for meditation based on what you're feeling at the moment or what you would like to be feeling, what you're struggling with. Because very often it's easier for us to focus on something when it resonates with how we're feeling at the moment. It's a lot harder to do when you're saying that how I want to be relaxed, but currently I'm just severely overworked and I've been multitasking the past 4 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours. And I'm just going to suddenly sit and relax is not really doable, you know. So Dhyana tries to take that into consideration and guide you towards it, ease you into it. And by the end of it, you get a clear feedback based on the analysis of your heart rate variability about where you were reacting from. So for what duration of the time were you actually able to achieve mindfulness? How much time were you relaxed for? How much time were you focused? How much of the time your mind actually wavered? Because that will happen. Dhyana takes you from beginner sessions that you can opt for a 6-minute session in the middle whenever you want to take a break. Say it's been a crazy day, you're just feeling overwhelmed, just take 5-10 minutes and do this, because that is more practical for us as compared to traditional meditation. Because when we think about traditional meditation, we're thinking about, you know, that half an hour early in the morning, 5:30 a.m. we'll wake up, we'll sit there, zen music, and वो नहीं होना है, हमसे बिल्कुल नहीं होना है. We're not going to wake up half an hour early for meditation. We're not going to, if we're trying to start with half an hour, most likely either we're going to get sleepy or we're just going to get distracted. So Dhyana has tried to ease us into mindfulness, keeping in mind where we come from.
Okay, thank you so much. So I think this was a really nice description given about Dhyana app. Thank you. And so there are certain more questions. So someone had asked that how to keep oneself calm during a hectic situation.
Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
How to keep yourself calm during a hectic situation? If you get a definitive answer to that, please tell me also, because I'm mostly in hectic situations. And see, being calm in a hectic situation is not normal. Okay, your body has got a response known as fight, flight, and fright response. If you're calm during a fire, you'll get burned. If you're calm during an earthquake and you keep staying inside the building, you'll get crushed. Okay, so getting anxious and frenzy in a hectic situation or a frightful situation is a normal body stimulus. What you can do is you can try to what you can do is you can learn how to respond to that hectic situation rather than reacting to it. Okay, and that it'll come. It'll come. It's not only about meditation and mindfulness. That's also a lot about maturity. And as you grow, and also a lot of it is about experiences. And it's not every person has a different threshold for doing calm, for undergoing hectic situations and life circumstances. Like in my field, there are people who prefer to do general medicine and not surgery because they are not suited to take that kind of surgical stress, which is okay. But what I suggest is you identify at this stage, especially at your stage, since you're in college, what sort of situations are you comfortable in? What level of